Have you ever planted something and then completely forgotten it existed? And when you finally remembered and walked back, what did you find? A crispy, sad little plant funeral, right? But what if, instead of a plant graveyard, you found dinner waiting for you? What if the problem isn't that you're bad with plants, but that you're growing the wrong plants for your life? Today we're talking about 10 forgotten vegetables that will quietly feed you in the background, even if you basically ignore them. So the real question is, can a garden actually survive your schedule, your brain fog, your "I meant to water that" texts? Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which veggies to plant once, and then mostly let them get on with it. And as always, check what grows well in your area and climate. Think of this as your menu. You only have to pick a few starters, not order the whole buffet. Have you ever wished your spinach could just handle life better than you do? That's good King Henry. This old-fashioned green was once a cottage garden staple, then quietly disappeared when supermarkets took over. It's a perennial, which means you plant it once, and it comes back year after year. Even if you forget it's there, half the time. It doesn't need rich soil, it doesn't need constant watering, and it definitely doesn't need you hovering over it. So what does it actually give you? Tender spinach-like leaves in spring and fall, and young shoots you can treat a bit like asparagus. You can sauté it with garlic, stir it into soups, or toss it into pasta. It's slightly earthier than baby spinach, but used the same way. The real magic? While other greens sulk in heat or bolt to seed, good King Henry just rests and returns when the weather is kinder. It's the quiet, reliable friend in the corner of your garden, feeding you long after the fussy plants have given up. If a lemon and a lettuce had a baby, it would be sorrel. Sorrel is a perennial green with a bright, tangy flavor that wakes up anything you cook. It's one of those, how did I not know about this plants? You pop it in the ground, give it half-decent soil and some sun, and it pretty much takes it from there. It spreads gently, shrugs off neglect, and pops back every spring, even after rough winters. What do you actually do with sour leaves on purpose? A little chopped sorrel in salads, omelets, soups, or sauces instantly adds that lemony edge you normally need citrus for. It's amazing in creamy potato soup or folded into scrambled eggs. Is the taste strong? Yes, and that's the point. You don't need a huge patch. A single clump can flavor a lot of meals. For lazy gardeners, that means less space, less work, more impact. One plant, big personality, almost no maintenance. What if your salad greens looked like they belonged in a flower bed? Orach, sometimes called mountain spinach, is a forgotten leafy green that comes in stunning colors: deep purple, ruby red, lime green. It's gorgeous enough to plant right next to your flowers, but tough enough to handle heat and less than perfect soil. Unlike spinach, which throws a fit and bolts when it gets warm, Orach keeps on growing. How do you use it? Just like spinach. You can pick the baby leaves for salads, use the larger leaves in stir-fries, sautés, and soups, or steam them as a side. The flavor is mild and familiar, so no one at the table will complain it's too weird. What makes it perfect for the lazy garden is its attitude. It tolerates heat, doesn't demand constant water, and will happily reseed itself if you let a few plants go to seed. That means your future self might walk into the garden one spring and think, "Oh right, I planted you. Nice to see you again." Imagine a plant that grows taller than you, looks like a sunflower, and secretly hides free food underground. That's Jerusalem artichokes, or sunchokes. You tuck a few knobbly tubers into the soil, walk away, and months later there's a stand of tall, cheerful plants, plus a stash of edible tubers beneath them. They don't need fancy soil, they don't panic in drought once established, they just get on with it. So what do you do with them? The tubers taste a bit like nutty potatoes. Roast them, slice, and pan fry, or add to soups and purees. They're rich in fiber and can be surprisingly filling. There are two warnings that actually prove how tough they are. They spread easily, and they're hard to kill. Plant them in a dedicated bed or big container and they'll keep coming back year after year without replanting. For a lazy, long-term food source, that's gold. It's like nature's slow cooker working in your backyard, even when you forget it's on. Have you ever wished your onions would just replant themselves? Walking onions almost do. They grow like scallions at the base, but instead of regular flowers, they form little bulb clusters on top. Those heavy clusters eventually bend down to the soil, take root, and start a new clump, so the onions slowly walk across your garden over time. Why is that amazing for a busy person? Because once you plant a patch, it can keep going for years with very little help. You can snip the green tops like chives or green onions, harvest small bulbs at the base for cooking, and even use the top sets like tiny shallots. One plant, 3 products. They don't need perfect soil, they don't need babying, and they handle cold weather well. If you've ever let grocery store onions rot in the pantry, walking onions are your low-maintenance upgrade. They quietly renew themselves while you're busy doing anything else. If you like bold flavor and zero fuss, horseradish might become your new favorite troublemaker. This is a root that basically refuses to die. You put a piece of root into the ground, and it settles in, sends up green leaves, and starts building more roots underground. Poor soil, it copes. Neglect, it shrugs. Cold winters, it usually comes back stronger. What's it good for? The root is grated and mixed with vinegar to make that fiery condiment people serve with roast beef, sandwiches, or veggie dishes that need a kick. Fresh horseradish is far more powerful than the jarred kind, so a single plant can season a lot of meals. The catch, if you want to call it that, is its enthusiasm. Once established, horseradish can be hard to get rid of, and will pop back from tiny root pieces. That's why most people give it its own corner or a deep container. But if your goal is food that returns with almost no attention, horseradish is a champion. Strong, stubborn, and productive, just how a lazy garden likes it. If you could do one thing this year that future you will thank you for every spring, it's planting asparagus. Asparagus is the classic plant once, harvest for decades vegetable. It takes patience at the start, usually 2 to 3 years before you start harvesting heavily. But after that, it reliably pops up every spring with tender spears, right when you're craving something fresh and green. Does it need constant care? Not really. It likes a sunny spot and reasonably well-drained soil. You'll keep weeds down, mulch it, and maybe give it a little compost now and then, but you're not out there every day nursing it. Once the roots, crowns, are established, they settle in like a long-term tenant. In the kitchen, asparagus is incredibly simple. Steam, roast, grill, or sauté with a bit of oil, salt, and lemon. That's it. Knowing those spears are coming back year after year without replanting turns one weekend of digging into 20+ years of food. For a lazy garden that feeds you on autopilot, asparagus is one of the best investments you can make. Rhubarb is that dramatic-looking plant that acts like a tank. Big leaves, thick stalks, and an attitude of, "I'll be here whether you remember me or not." Once you plant a rhubarb crown in a suitable spot, cool to temperate climates, some sun, and decently drained soil, it can keep producing for 10, 15, sometimes 20 years. It wakes up early each spring, pushing out red or green stalks while many other plants are still thinking about it. What do you actually eat? The stalks. They're tart and perfect for pies, crumbles, jams, and sauces. Cook them with a bit of sugar or another sweetener and they turn into a bright, tangy dessert base. The leaves are toxic, so those go straight to the compost, not the plate. Rhubarb can handle neglect surprisingly well. Mulch it, give it some space, and it generally thrives without much fuss. It's one of those plants you almost forget you own until you walk outside one spring and realize, oh, dessert grew itself again. For a lazy garden, having a built-in dessert factory that returns every year is a pretty great deal. Imagine never buying celery again because one plant keeps replacing it, stronger, taller, and more flavorful. That's lovage. It's a tall, perennial herb with a taste very similar to celery, but more intense. Once established, it can grow 4 to 6 feet tall, returning year after year, like a leafy green skyscraper. It likes a decent soil, but after the first season, it mostly looks after itself with minimal help from you. How do you use it? The leaves can be chopped into soups, stews, and stocks anywhere you'd use celery or parsley. The stems can be added to broths for deep flavor, and even the seeds can be used as a spice. Because the flavor is strong, you don't need much, meaning one plant goes a long way. For a lazy gardener, lovage is the perfect flavor backbone plant. You don't have to remember to replant celery every year. You don't have to dash to the store because you're missing that one herb for soup. You just walk outside, cut a handful, and your food instantly tastes more complete. Sea kale is one of those plants that makes you ask, why does no one talk about this? It's a hardy perennial that originally grew along coastlines, which means it's tough, salt-tolerant and used to challenging conditions. Once you plant it in well-drained soil and give it a bit of time to establish, it can reward you for years with edible shoots, leaves, and sometimes flower buds. What does it taste like? Think of a cross between kale and broccoli, mild, slightly nutty, and very versatile. You can eat the young leaves raw in salads or cook them like any leafy green. The blanched spring shoots, when grown under a cover to keep them pale and tender, can be treated almost like asparagus. Why is it lazy gardener friendly? Because once it's settled, it doesn't need constant care. It comes back each year, shrugs off cool weather, and doesn't demand daily attention. You're basically setting up a long-term, perennial vegetable that quietly works in the background. For a garden that feeds you even when life pulls you away, sea kale is one of those under-the-radar options that delivers far more than it asks. So now you might be wondering, where do you even start? You don't need all 10, you just need a tiny, lazy garden starter pack. Pick 1 leafy green, Good King Henry, Sorrel, or Orach, 1 root or tuber, Jerusalem artichokes, walking onions, or horseradish, 1 big perennial, Asparagus, Rhubarb, Lovage, or sea kale. That's it, 3 choices. Next question. What should you do right now, before you forget? Pause for a second, think about your life, your climate, your space, and choose 1 plant that sounds like it could survive you on your worst week. Then, while you're still here, make a note or start a little lazy garden list, and after this video, look up which of these grow well in your area. If you'd like a follow-up video on indoor lazy plants or balcony-only lazy gardens, tell me in the comments which one would actually help you more. And if you want to keep building a life that's greener but not harder, tap subscribe and watch this video right here next. It'll walk you through another simple, low-stress step toward a more sustainable life.